Well, don't you know the cage is gonna eat some crow? And I was so wrong. And that's why I'm singing this song. I'll eat some crow. But that's okay, 'cause we both know that hooker's going to trial tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll eat that crow. Hello, everyone. Good evening. What a day, what a day. And as I said, OKJ would eat crow. I'm willing to be wrong. I thought for sure that damn hooker was going to show up in the courtroom wheeling in that wheelchair. I thought for sure she was going to cause a fuss. I also believed after, it was, we all figured it out that it was going to move forward. The judge put his foot down. He should right up her ass. But anyway, I couldn't believe that she didn't try anything when she was questioning those jurors. What do y'all think? Huh? What do y'all think? She walked in like a real old lady, says Cooked Goose. What else do we... Oh, Cooked Goose is enjoying the show too. Kathy, Tina, Fancy Nancy, Samuela, Dora Pinion, Jill Schneider, Vix Tex. Judge B ain't playing, says Beach Lady. Well, there you go. Vix Tex says somebody give that judge hazard pay. I'm telling you what, he handled it, didn't he? Yo, maybe this is a good time for me to self-reflect on the fact that I always jump to conclusions about stuff, but I can't put nothing past this damn whore. I can't put nothing past her. And I thought, that she would really try something today. But it didn't work out, and I'm thankful that it didn't, because the victims' family members deserve this shit to get on the road. Brandon deserves his justice, and I'm happy for him. Oh, really? She walked in like she had a corn cob up her A. Oh, just me. I'm sure it was from sitting in that wheelchair. Y'all, it makes sense to me now. The reason Monday that she came in there in the wheelchair is because she told them she wasn't going to court on Monday. She told them she was sick. And they put her in that wheelchair and they took her to court. And then she got her way. She got Tuesday off. And this is just an opinion. But I think the reason that she didn't stand when the judge came in or stand when the jurors came in, she sat at her seat the whole time, was for two reasons. Number one, she'd just been in a wheelchair on Monday, and she wanted people to think there was a reason she had to be in the wheelchair. And number two, she absolutely, y'all. She had, well, I think she just had to account for the stupid wheelchair. And for her to stand up, I mean, she doesn't see anything else that she did today that would point to the fact that there was nothing wrong with her in the first place. Nothing. I mean, what, a headache? A headache is going to keep somebody from a conspiracy to commit murder trial. Oh, yeah, I know. She talks about, oh, Judge, we have to seal up my medical records. Man, did she see that coming back when she and Chad got sealed in the temple? Did she see back then that she was going to have to seal her medical records? Oh, she's only been sick one other time, she says, which is a bald-faced lie. As many of you know, it is an empirical fact that back when she was in Idaho, she used another woman's name to go to a clinic. Now, what was that for? Was that for birth control pills? Was that because she was sick? she's so full of it. I haven't been sick in 5.5 years. Maybe she's including her time in incarceration, but the woman, we talked about it before. She never really, there was never any evidence ever that she'd ever been to, in the hospital over something other than the fact that she made Tylee sick. That Munchausen's by proxy stuff that she was doing. But, it is what it is. All I'm saying is she showed up today and she did not want to be there, first of all, and for her to lay her head down on that table. Oh, I'm so sick. I'm so very sick. Well, I'll tell you what, according to Nate Eaton's tweet, so probably got him coming out of our ears. KJ's looking at things just a little bit differently, because justice through understanding means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So I'm going to take Nate Eaton's tweets. I'm sure Justin Lum's got some equally good tweets, and I'm going to apply them to the hooker. And really what I see ultimately in all of this, 8 men, 8 women sitting on a jury. It's a difference, is it not? How many men were sitting on Charles Vallow's jury as opposed to women, and now we've got an equal split? Very interesting, is it not? And Lori, she did ask some questions, and that again goes back to what we had talked about a couple of live streams back, about her filing this thing about she didn't want Judge Boreski on the case, and she gave her reasons. And I was able to look at those reasons, that her affidavit testimony, those are her words, and I could apply them to her. And now I am going to apply her questions to the potential jurors. And I'm going to show you exactly what this hooker's all about. It's not like you don't already know, but let's just go there anyway. Beach Lady says, I've been wrong many times with Lori in all the trials. Sick of not being able to manipulate the judge, says Love Always. Hope Grace says her opinion is female issues. Does she not want the jury to know that she's the reason they have to come in and nothing happened with wasting everyone's time, says Love Always? It was total disrespect, says Just Me. Fancy Nancy says, Gloria! I always think of that song, Gloria. Gloria, I think I got your number. I think da-da-da. Oh, that's such an old song, y'all. That you were living under, you don't remember. Y'all remember that? Was it something that he said? All the voices in your head calling Gloria. Oh, Lord. Hello, Mr. M. How are you? Vix Tech says her staying seated was a sign of defiance and disrespect. Well, don't y'all find it interesting that in terms of the court proceedings today, that Trina K stays seated, and Nate Eaton even said he thought that was to not make the jurors think, well, why is the defendant not standing? So Trina K stayed seated as well, which was a smart move. Anything that the judge and this court room can do that's going to make everything look better, more presentable to jurors, very neutral, flatlined, and all of that. Of course, Lori, she really, y'all, it was an act. It was an act. What they say, they treated her for one thing. What was it? A headache? What did they treat her for? If they treated her for something, then it should have got rid of the headache, right? There was no clinical diagnoses that could keep her from her trial. So really, if they treated her for something and she still has the headache, there's got to be something else she was treated for. What, her nausea, her chills? I'll tell you what, it's funny. It really is. Kathy says that didn't work out so well with her with the heavy on men jury. Right, exactly. Oh, there was a few. I was reading the comments from Nate about different jurors, and I'll get to it. Some of them I'm like, I hope they got rid of them. Especially that dude that says that he had something against the system. I'm sure his ass was kicked off for jury there. When he talked about he had went to a hearing with his friend, a parole hearing, and he felt like the system is bad and all this. Man, he's out the door as far as I'm concerned. Mark McGarry says the trial select to jury goes on because of the schedule as courtroom judge, jury time in service, and more. NF Mom says when Nate said the judge said for the record how different she acted when the jury was there and not, that was hilarious. Yeah, he's got to make a clear record of it. Y'all, she is diabolical. And if she can find any and always, and trust me, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. When this is all over with and she's convicted, make no mistake. She will put it in her appeal about the time she was sick there. She's going to use prejudice. She's going to use bias. She's going to say, that she couldn't be an effective counsel because she was sick, but that she was forced to do it. Blah, 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 blah. Anything she can say. Hello, sis. She wasn't giving her any reason to say she didn't get a fair trial, says just me. She refused to take ibuprofen in the courtroom, though, says Kathy. Well, okay. The judge did want it said that, he offered it. He wasn't going to force her to take anything for her headache. But make no mistake, y'all. They can make someone who is incompetent take medications. And I'm curious to know whether that's what happened when she was in Idaho, but I don't guess we'll ever know. It's interesting to say the least. Just Me says she tested positive for BS. That's right, Vivian. Lori is the headache. Tina Reddington said treated her for malingering. She appeared to be limping. I wonder if another prisoner beat her up. Jill, that's wishful thinking. She's locked down 23 hours a day. I don't see that happening. Mark McGarry wants everyone to just imagine what Lori dreams about. Kathy says, I wondered that yesterday when it was said she was hiding the right side of her face. Maybe her veneers are shifting. Maybe she's getting a toothache, y'all. They'll have to pull that tooth. Rad Joe, I think she's got more than a damn yeast infection. I think she's got probably chlamydia and all the other ones lying them down the road there. When them demons go to humping on one another, some crazy stuff happens. Sure says somebody said she walked in like she pooped her pants. Well, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, she pooped her pants as she walked in, and then she had to sit down in the defense attorney's chair that she so much wanted to be in, and it's squishing around on her behind, between her cheeks. The smell is starting to permeate the room, but her advisor's sitting right there. I'm sure it probably cleared his sinuses up real quick, smelling that. Cindy Arnold says, do you think she's cracking and coming to the realization of what she has done? Cindy Arnold, if you're talking about she wants to get honest, that she wants the truth, and she wants to show remorse and all of that, I don't see that. But Nate Eaton had talked about, somebody had brought up some kind of diagnosis about, it's called narcissistic injury. Told people to look it up. I hadn't had a chance to do it. She very well might be cracking, because you know why, y'all? Narcissism has to be fed with what? Control. And she has no control, only a little bits here and there. And when a narcissist is starving for what it needs to operate as a narcissist, God, I mean, my Lord, it must be terrible for her. You know, I guarantee you that it was almost like giving herself an injection of euphoria or calmness yesterday, when she knew that it was her that controlled the situation to take that day off. That made her feel so good, because in her narcissism, she has to have control. And think about it. It makes sense, does it not? Everyone was always scratching their head about how Lori just acted like when the kids were gone and missing, and all of this stuff, how she just acted like no big deal and all this and that, because everyone around her, Chad, Alex, Melanie Gibbs, Zulema, all of them were feeding her narcissism, giving her control. But now she doesn't have her children to control anymore. She had Chad there briefly, and she was able to control him by shaking her breast and her booty, and wearing her turquoise bikini, and getting the yoga mats, and playing these sex roles with James and Elena and Raphael and Lily and all. She had control in that. But man's law and incarceration, it's very, very hard to feed that narcissism the control that it needs. And make no mistake, when she gets to Pocatello, she's going to find a way to control things, because she has to feed that narcissism. Right now, she's locked down 23 hours a day, so there's not many people that she gets to go out here and control. Jay says, why was she carrying around those Kleenex yesterday if her complaints were headache and nausea? I thought Kleenexes were for cough and runny nose. Well, Jay, yesterday there was no quarter nut. You're talking about Monday. I see what you're saying there. The bottom line is why didn't she come into the courtroom today in the wheelchair? Right? Why wasn't she more belly aching to the judge? Perhaps she really, it sunk into her that he was not going to get off the case. And her advisor surely told her, listen, if you don't do this, we're going to have to go in here. They're going to make you come anyway. So she just bucked up and came in there. But she couldn't come in there, not sick today. She had to act like she was still suffering a little bit, because she knew. But then again, didn't Nate Eaton say in his tweets that at first it was that little itty bitty soft voice, but as she got to questioning the jurors, her voice became stronger, more stern. She's so stupid. She thinks that people really, I can lay my head on the desk, I can pout a little bit, I can do this and that, and I can still sit in my seat. So that will account for why I came in here with a stupid damn wheelchair. Joe, Lori's translated being status right now. She can never, ever, just think about this. She can never tell anyone she's translated again. So that has to cross off her list of her narcissism and her freaking demon-possessed delusions. She absolutely, and I wouldn't put it past her. I wouldn't put it past her to say I'm physically, my physical body is sick because the evilness of the courts and the law of man and all the people of the world that wish me ill, it's attacking me. I'm in a spiritual battle. Give me a break. I am coughing my head off. I caught it from the hussy, says sis. Now, don't you say that, sis. Don't you even place that on yourself. She ain't got the power to do that shit. Let's chalk it up to all them damn things you got to do out there in the yard and the change of the weather and stuff like that. You'll be all right, sis. You're like a superwoman. And I mean that sincerely, sis, Donna. I do not think that. She will never admit any wrong, and it will never bother her what she has done, says Jet Set J. That's exactly how I feel, Jet Set. And yo, I tell everybody on here, would y'all, if you get a chance on the comments, thank Fancy Nancy for being so loving and warm and welcoming to everyone who comes in here. The woman is unbelievably wonderful, okay? So if you could just put a comment. Oh, I would love it if she lost her tooth, especially a front tooth, says Love Always. What's her veneers? There is a shortage of CO, so maybe someone tripped her. Sis, I recommend a good shot of Tennessee whiskey with some honey. Try that out. I promise you, it'll work. It'll work. Get you a good shot glass of some Tennessee whiskey and a spoonful of organic honey. Mix that bad boy in there. Take a shot. And when you start feeling better, take another one just for good measure. Cindy Arnold says, so she'll be in this delusion forever? I want her to crack. Well, Cindy, honestly, y'all, as much as OKJ has mocked and just said everything I could possibly say about the hooker, ultimately, what the right thing would be is that OKJ would pray that she would come to her senses, fall down on her face and ask God for forgiveness and really mean it, and the true God, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, and that she would confess with her mouth what she's done, but that's not going to happen. Kathy Mama Bear says pineapple juice does wonders with a cough. Mark McGarry says 6 grams of bourbon. And Jet Set Jay says, Cindy, I would like to see her crack too. She thinks way too, but she's too far gone. Cindy, she might be in it for the rest of her days. I mean, that's just the way it is. She doesn't want to face the truth of what she's done. She knows deep down what she's done. She got busted doing it. And now she has to blame Tylee for JJ's death and that Tylee committed suicide. If she'll do that, do you think she's going to crack and confess to everyone that yes? And even then, if she come out and said, hey, everyone, I'm going to tell you the truth of the matter, people are going to would want to hear it. And it might sound exactly lining up with the evidence and that she was really telling the truth, but could anyone really trust it? You know, she is, in my view, demon possessed. Only God can help her. Only God can help her. Remember when she tried to get out of court when they showed the kids' autopsy photos? She just doesn't want to face her crimes. She had to face it then too. Good point. Good point, NF Mom. Oh, thank you, Stacia Santa Maria. I'm glad you're here. Dram equals shot glass over 4 hours. I apologize, Mr. M. I thought it was a typo. I apologize. You know, people have different lingo for their drinking. Okay, they just says take a whole shot glass. That's what I talk about. Yes, Cindy, there won't be any interviews or anything for her once she's settled into her new life at Pocatello Women's Prison. So we're never, ever going to hear it. I guess there's a possibility that she could send messages through her sister Sami or her mom Janice. or somebody could come out and give people a message. I don't know. Jill Schneider, good point. This victim is still alive and she has to face him. That could make her snap. Well, Jill, Lori is so far removed from, in her own mind, of her own culpability and stuff, that she doesn't see Brandon as someone who is deserving of any thought at all to her. She's gonna glaze over him at any time, whether he's testifying, whether other witnesses are testifying about Brandon, in terms of the sentencing and victim impact statements. Do you think this woman gives a rat's ass how these people feel? She was willing to murder those children, murder Tammy, murder Charles, tried to murder Brandon. I feel like she murdered Joe Ryan with Alex as her tool. But I've just got a few things I want to talk to y'all about Lori, okay? And I hope you'll try to understand how I see things and demonstrate it, so that you can understand this is my way of giving a little justice through understanding. And hopefully you'll understand what I'm saying. So I'm looking through the whole tweet spread, and I'm only going to focus on her questioning. It says, Lori is going through her papers as her paralegal and other attorney, Pamela Hicks, are chatting off to the side. So Lori, first of all, she's chatting, okay? She's chatting. She's not sitting there the whole time with her head laid down, sick as a dog or anything. She's chatting. And so Lori begins questioning these potential jurors. And Beresky asked her to pull the microphone closer to her mouth. Lori begins by asking if any of them have ever seen her before. And the reason I want to bring that up is because before she even spoke, the judge had asked all those jurors, have you seen any of us before? Anyone in the courtroom before? And they said no. But she's going to ask it again. She wants to know if any of them seen her before, because she thinks everybody knows who she is. They all think that they've seen the pictures of her in Hawaii and all the cute Mrs. Texas pictures or whatever. In her mind, she just wants to know if anyone's ever seen her before. Of course, none of them have, they say. She asked jurors if anything is happening in their lives that might distract them from concentrating on their service. Now, let's stop there. She's asking these jurors, is there anything going on in your life that would keep you from doing your service? Well, how about this, Lori? Was anything going on in your life that kept you from being a good mother to those children? Was your life so bad, Lori, that it distracted you from being a good mother to JJ and Tylee? Think about that, y'all. She had a great big house. She didn't want to be with Charles, and she wanted to be with that little itty bitty gherkin. She could have. She was so distracted. She was so distracted about something that's fixing to come up right here. Lori asked if anyone in the room has ever wanted to be on a jury, like a bucket list thing. Her bucket list was to be all exalted, all powerful, the most powerful goddess is what Chad said she was. She wanted to have all power. She went so far as to tell everyone that she sat down with Jesus in heaven. She was up in heaven with Jesus, and he gave her this mission, and she could have accepted it or not, and she accepted that mission. And she's had all these multiple probations, right? Well, her bucket list was to dang rule the freaking world as far as I'm concerned, because the way I understand it, if this stupid ass Church of the Firstborn, all these people died and there was only so many people left and all that, she get to be the queen and Chad the king. Oh yeah, she had a bucket list. And the only way that she was going to get that bucket list to come to fruition was to murder those children. Those children were a reminder to her. Tylee was a reminder to her of how she lied to Tylee ever since she was a little girl, saying she was molested, mistreating Tylee. The way she was, what she really felt deep down about JJ. Because make no mistake, y'all, she couldn't love Tylee and she couldn't love JJ to have them murdered like that. To have Tylee chopped up and just put in a pet cemetery and JJ done the way he was. She had to absolutely get rid of certain things in her life, not to mention a husband so she could be with her new husband, Chad, her bucket list. I hope it was worth it for her. From the day she married Chad Daybell on to when she got arrested, at the end of February, beginning of March, I hope those months were everything to her. Was it on her bucket list to go through the Christmas holidays in 2019 knowing her children were murdered and dead? And by the way, what about the grandparents like Janice and Barry and the Aunt Summy and all them? Wouldn't they want to give gifts to Tylee and JJ? It was on Lori's bucket list to have the followers she had. Audrey Barteria, Serena Sharp, Melanie Gibb, Melanie Pulowski. For God's sake, Melanie Pulowski said it herself. She said she couldn't stand not being able to talk to Lori and get blessings from Lori. It tore her apart because she was absolutely convinced that her Aunt Lori had the answers. And that was on Lori's bucket list. To have all the answers, to be the only one who was right, the most exalted goddess in the world. She asked, the law says I am innocent until proven guilty. Is there anyone who disagrees, who doesn't understand that concept? And Lori asked if any of the jurors can easily have their minds changed. Well, guess what? How many times from second to second for the end of 2018 all the way up to when all these murders happened and all of this happened, from second to second, that Lori could have changed her mind. She could have changed her mind about what they did. But the judge follows up and asks these jurors if there are any of them who easily give up on their convictions. The judge is saying, hey, potential jurors, are you easy to give up on your own convictions? What kind of convictions did Lori have? What kind of real, stable convictions in her faith that would, for goodness sake, anything, yes, we all understand how she was raised and everything. The bottom line is she went from going to church, LDS and all that stuff, to doing all this crazy ass stuff. It's like her belief system never was stable, and it sure as hell wasn't the truth. Because the truth stands firm. The truth will always stay the same. The truth is, there's nothing you can do against the truth. The truth has no agenda. But Lori had an agenda. Chad had an agenda. And they had other people that had agendas to give into their own seducing type of, I've got special abilities. Zulema, she can make earthquakes and then malachite and all this stupid shit. And Chad and his stupid pendulum and all that stupid stuff. Lori asked the jurors to raise their hands if they have any other experience in the courtroom. And we know good and damn well that Lori's had plenty of experience in the courtroom. In fact, when she decided to do this pro se stuff, or pro per in Arizona, And she told the judge, I've got experience in the courts. And the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is her fights with Joe Ryan in courts and all of that. And then you bring that into all of this, her convictions in Idaho, all these arrests, her arrests in Hawaii, having to go to these extradition hearings and all of that. So she's asking these jurors if they have any other experience in the courtroom, and they share that with her. And Lori asked these jurors that experience, how that experience that they're telling her about might affect them in this case. Well, it's obvious that for a woman who sat there and told a judge, I can represent myself, I can do a better job, I can do it, I know, I've studied family law, I know the ins and outs of it. If she is cracking, as Cindy wants her to crack, she's cracking because she can't handle man's law. She can't handle it. She doesn't even want to take a step back and listen to her advisors, who are actual attorneys. Because I'm going to tell you, if she was listening to her advisors, those advisors are surely not derelict enough not to tell her all these things she's been doing throughout this. She's not listening to them. Lori asked if anyone has a close family member who has ever served on a jury. And a few hands were raised. And I think the reason she's asked that question is she wants to know if they've got a tight-knit, like, family situation, because she goes into asking them what was that like and all this and that. She's hoping that one of them will be on the jury because they have family members that's been on jury, and that they'll talk amongst each other, giving her a reason for jury misconduct. That's an opinion. What other reason could it be? And of course, y'all, when she talks about, she goes down this line of questioning about guns. I mean, does it even dawn on her at all that, no, she's not, I don't think she's ever, there's any evidence that she's actually been to a gun range. She keeps asking that question. But she does have pictures on her phone of ammo from Sportsman's Warehouse out there in Idaho Falls. The same Sportsman's Warehouse that Wayne and I went down there to try to match up the shelves down there, which it was unfortunate we weren't able to do it. But we tried. And how about all the guns in her garage that Alex left there, along with hazmat suits and all that freaky monkey mask and all that other crazy? And most importantly, does it matter that Lori, whether she likes guns or not, the bottom line is she used her brother Alex as a weapon. She didn't have to pull the trigger on a gun. She pulled the trigger on her nut crazy brother Alex Cox. That's what she did. She'd already had an experience with him where he tried to throw Joe Ryan into the trunk of a car after freaking doing what he did to him and getting put in jail for it. But she keeps asking that question. She says, have you been to a shooting range? Have you been to a shooting range? I'm wondering, is she wanting people on the jury that have experience with guns, or she doesn't? Because ultimately it comes down to the photographic evidence of the window and the top of the door there. I'm sure she's going to bring up where the shell casings. Of course, they did find in the Jeep, and it will come out in Brandon's trial here, that they found gunshot residue in the Jeep in the back of it. Also, there was something that really just pissed me off when I heard it. Again, these are my thoughts. These are my feelings. This is my way of looking past the obvious adjudication of this case and looking ahead to get a little justice through understanding. She says Raise your hand if you think someone charged with a crime is automatically guilty no matter what. Didn't she charge her murder victims with being evil entities, demon possessed? Did she give them the benefit of the doubt? Did she try to protect them? Did she try to do anything? She absolutely accused and stuck to her new convictions that these murder victims, J.J. Tiley, Tammy Charles, had to be taken out. Raise your hand if you think someone charged with a crime is automatically guilty no matter what, or has a percentage of guilt. Isn't that what she's doing? Isn't that what she's done? What percentage, what death percentage was her murder victims? And yet she's asking these juror members, is there a percentage of guilt? Is there? I gotta know. Well, I think someone needs to ask her, what percentages were you and Chad attaching to your murder victims? Oh, is JJ at 0 yet? That dang hooker, she needs to get it. The death percentages. She forgotten all about that? Has she forgotten everything she says she believed in order to do what all these atrocious, terrible murders? It's went out the window, y'all. It's went out the window. Her belief system. Oh yeah, I know. She says in her appeal about getting Judge Boreski off the case that he's going against her religious freedom and all that. She can go kiss OKJ's ass about the whole damn thing. That ain't religious freedom. That's called criminal freaking murder. Got nothing to do with faith. When Lori does speak, says Nadie, she does not talk into the microphone and the judge has to ask her to repeat herself. Judge says a batch of jurors will be excused. We will now take a break so that the defendant can rest up. She's got to rest, y'all. She's got to rest. She don't have to stand in court. So the judge, he's like, okay, she's going to act this way. I'll have Trina K stay seated so that it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. She doesn't want to talk into the microphone. It's crazy. Rad Joe says Joe Ryan didn't get justice. I pray justice for Precious Brandon. He's going to get it, Rad. He's going to get it. Just Me says, to be fair, she doesn't have an owl pendulum. Facetiously saying this, I assume. Mark McGarry says, at that early time, so much was hidden, not released, hard to unravel. It was, Mark. And we held on and we got through it. I feel like OKJ got some justice through understanding, through all of that. I hope the Rays and others did as well. That's how they figured the level of zombies, says Vix Tex. She did, Just Me. Lori dehumanized them all. But here she is. Obviously, common sense, she has to, but it's almost pathetic, really. She's wanting these juror members to give her the benefit of the doubt. What? Man's law, innocent until proven guilty. Hi, Margie. Mark McGarry thinks the jury may hear the words of Alex. Some creepy stuff. Love Always says, imagine if Alex had survived, she would have thrown him under the bus 100 times at least trying to save her and Chad. Yep, just me. Exactly. Alex taking animals into the desert for her to get rid of them. What's the difference, right? She treated her own children like garbage. Barry Sadler says that this is Lori's last hurrah, and that's why I don't understand why she hasn't made it more of a circus than she has. Oh yeah, she's tried to do this sick routine and all that. But y'all, really, if you think about it and encapsulate it all in together about her, whether it's her filings, her attitude, her verbalizations to the judge, she absolutely has no respect for authority at all. And make no mistake, y'all. Make no mistake. A demon has no respect for authority. It is stated in Holy Scripture, the Holy Bible. It says to respect authority because there is no power but that of God, and the powers that be are ordained of God, and we don't know have to know how all that works. We're just supposed to respect the authority. If there's some injustice, I think that would not be an exercise of what God means by authority. I'm not saying that all authority is lily white and just, holier than thou. But we're talking about if God ordains power, if God establishes authority, right? Do you think it's always got, we're here on earth. We're dealing with man's self-will. We're dealing with all of that. He's working within all of this. Yep. She is fake. Every word that comes out of her mouth, she's fake. She didn't think any of them were humans anymore. She thought they were demons. That's absolutely insane to feel that beautiful man and children were possessed. Says Love Always. Trace on the case says it is crazy. Just Me says, I will never believe that she wasn't involved. Nicole P says she's just throwing a temper tantrum because she didn't get her way. That's about as simple as it gets, y'all. Lori just didn't want to stand, says Vic's Text. Well, that's probably as simple as that, Vic's Text, but I think the reason she didn't stand up is because she had to account for the fact that she wheeled her ass into the freaking damn courtroom on Monday in a wheelchair. It was so stupid. It was so over the top, so unnecessary. And what? Hallelujah! Hallelujah! She said she had to lay down on Monday. She couldn't even sit in the defense table's chair. She couldn't do all that, but here she is today, doing it all, questioning jurors. Even the judge said, I want it on the record. She seems in her sound mind. She went on a sidebar there, and the judge was like, from what she was telling me, I'm not telling what she told me, but she seems like she's advocating for herself just fine and dandy. Was nothing wrong with her, y'all. Nothing wrong with her. Granny Whisperer says, until today, I really didn't like this judge. But after the way he handed Lori's ass to her, trial will proceed, says Granny Whisperer. Trace on the case says, today somebody was asking me how I got started on the YouTube stuff, and I was like, well, do you know KJ and the Ray? Because that's where it all started. Well, Trace, you become quite the rock star along with Janelle Murphy. It does my heart good to see y'all being so, just getting out there and sharing yourself. I've always advocated for that. I've always advocated for anyone and everyone to share their self. You know why, don't you, Trace? You are the only you're ever going to be. And if you can share yourself with other people, that's a gift. That's a blessing. I'm proud of you, Trace. I'm proud of you have a very creative, artistic streak in you. Good girl. Yeah, I mean, really, that was one thing, Mary Sadler. If y'all go back to the lesson, I was wrong about a lot of things. I didn't think they were even going to have the trial this week. But I did say there was nothing they're not going to find anything wrong with her. But she's still going to say she's sick, and that's exactly what happened. So I was right about that, but I will eat crow. I didn't think the trial would start this week. I thought she would show up with the wheelchair. I thought they would put it off. They have to put it off. That's what I thought. Hi, Izzy Day. Yes, Mr. M. I heard about those 3 little girls up there in Washington. That just burns my biscuits. It's just when you think you've seen the worst of evil, someone comes in and says, "Hold my beer," and they do something just even worse. Even when you think that I've seen it all, there's nothing more that can shock me, it happens. And it's so sad. It's so unfortunate. Just Me said, God is love. If it's not of love, it's not of God. And that's fact. That's truth. Lori's philosophy is tell a lie often enough and it becomes the truth, says Love Always. You got some good comments this evening, Love Always. Nicole P says the wheelchair is just the opening act. So what are you saying, Nicole P? She really gonna... I mean, I've got to where now... Every prediction I ever give seems to be wrong, but I'll throw another one out there. She's going to show her ass in this one. And I wouldn't be surprised if she testifies. This is her last hurrah, right? Isn't that what somebody said? Rachel Black says she's getting a taste of her own medicine. Denise Gray says, KJ, you can do it. Make a song regarding Lori's life. Denise, that'd be a tough one. Because I don't know if it would be a comedic one, whether it would be a sad one. I don't know. It would have to be something that really isn't going to sound good. Izzy Day, I cannot understand why she's not listening to her advisory council. She can't be. Or they're so stupid, or they're just like, I'm standing back on this, or just agreeing with anything she says. It's one of those reasons. Janelle Murphy says that's why she's not standing and not speaking up. Stella F says she wants to be in her cell because Chad got a message to her that he'll open the portal and whisk her away. Judge Boreski is blocking his gifts in the courtroom. Okay. Exactly, Izzy Day. The judge has been making a record of it, step by step by step. He has to make sure. He wants to see her get her fair trial. He wants to see this done properly, legally, something that will stand firm on appeal. That's his job. Yes, it was, Trace. She quickly recovered when she knew she had no choice, says Hope Grace. So tomorrow, y'all, 10 a.m. Arizona time. I guess that's, let's see. That'd be like 1 or 2 o'clock here. I think maybe 12 or 1 in the afternoon here. I'll try to get with y'all in the evening time. I know y'all probably would rather go after all the court for the day and everything, I definitely think the priority should be Crescia K. Easton, a difficult research. I don't know. I'm pretty sure, I'm almost positive that she's going to cover it all day. I know a lot of y'all really into the Courtroom Insider with Nate Eaton. You don't have to be on the live with me. Come back and listen to it on the rewatch. OKJ will have her thoughts, a little justice through understanding, to share with y'all each and every day. So I hope y'all got something out of this evening's little deal here. For nothing else, once again, OKJ has eat crow. I'm so happy that I did, because tomorrow she's going to be put on trial with opening statements at 10 a.m. She can give an opening statement or she can wait, but I'd like to hear what her excuse is, huh? Oh, I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't do it. I wasn't even there. I'll tell you what. They didn't show the body cam of Charles Vallow telling them she says she's going to murder me. If they don't play those storage unit videos, then they can kiss my country ass, because that's the most damning evidence on that hooker. But hopefully we'll get to hear a little bit more, something we didn't know, something that fills in those blocks, those little pieces. The judge scared me last trial. I thought he was way too helpful to Lori, but nice to know that she doesn't like him and he's not giving in to her. There you go, y'all, right there. He did. He really helped her. He even, during pre-trial, he's done 101 law classes with this hooker. But she's done this. He's still going to stay neutral. He's always been neutral, even though some people think he wasn't being neutral by helping her. He wants it on the record that he's even tried to help her, not give her legal advice, but just try to help the situation along. And any state Supreme Court appeals deal is going to look at his record and say, this man has done an excellent job. Well, I love you too, Red Joe. I'll never forget you saying that your father said that a man is only good as his word. And so is it with women and humanity at a whole. And you know what, y'all? A person's word is important. It really is. But it's unfortunate in this day and time. For instance, my husband Wayne, he used to do business with a handshake. Can't do it anymore. We got freaking contracts and all kind of crazy ass stuff. You can't even do it anymore. Well, I'll tell you what. This woman, Lori Hussey Daybell, she's a walking lie. She is a walking lie. You can't trust her. You can't trust her as far as you throw her. And yet she's going to prove somehow, and it's not her burden to prove, but she's going to get it across to those jury members that she's done nothing wrong, when we all know that it was all about the money. When she didn't get the money of Charles, they had to find a way to get the money. And she knew that getting rid of the kids, she would be able to keep that money instead of doing what? If she let the kids live, she'd have to spend that money on the kids. So she had to get rid of them so she could pocket the money. And she thought, well, I can't get Charles's $1 million, so I'll get Brandon's. And this will fund our little stupid ass cult. This Church of the Firstborn bullshit that is not true in Holy Scripture whatsoever. So I'm not even going to go into all this other stuff that I know I probably should, but I'm afraid, because I'm not afraid. I'm a little worried that my words will come out wrong, and I have, believe it or not, tried to measure my words. I'm not as good at it as like Crescia. Crescia's good at measuring her words before they come out of her freaking mouth. But okay, Jay, I can't. I'm like a freaking dang, just a weed eater. Just start me up. So, I mean, it is what it is. Well, Granny Whisperer, I didn't think it would start this week. I thought once she wheeled in there in the wheelchair, y'all, there's no reason she should have been in that wheelchair on Monday. I don't care what anybody says. She didn't need that wheelchair. The only thing I can think, I don't think she requested the wheelchair. I think she told them at the jail, I'm not going, I'm not going, I'm not going, and I'm dizzy or I'm sick, and they loaded her ass up like a dang sack of taters into that wheelchair and wheeled her to the van, put her in the van, took her over to the courthouse, brought her in the wheelchair. That's what I think. Right, Trace. She didn't have a problem walking in and out. Wonder what she had for lunch today, y'all. She had some more broth and oranges. I mean, come on, y'all. Come on. Leanne Forsberg says, I definitely always get justice through understanding when we are together, KJ. And Leanne Forsberg, you've been around a really long time, and I love you. I care about each and every one of y'all on here. I always have and I always will. That is my word. Mr. M, my rock carving is pretty good. It really is. But guess who gave me the idea? TMO, huh? I fought the law and the law won, says JoJo. Oh, she's going to try. She is going to try, Beach Lady, to testify in her questioning like she did in the last trial. And Trina's going to have to object. It's the way it is. She's going to try to do it any way she can do it without actually being held. She doesn't want to be held accountable, but she's being held accountable. You know, that's coming into focus for me. Not only is her narcissism having to be forced to deal with it, but she is having to be forced to accept personal responsibility through man's law, through her convictions, and the penalties for those convictions. There's not a damn thing she can do. Is Cresha in here? Oh, I didn't know she was. I think I just brought her up and someone said Cresha. Well, you're welcome, Stephanie Willow. Walk in on Sunshine. I think she'll go ahead and do an opening statement. It might not be that long, but I think she will. I think anytime she can get out there and, you know, be in the spotlight, I think she'll do it. I love all of y'all. Hi, Kathy Benadaro. Right, Kathy. Love you, Maria P. Love you, Cindy Arnold. Love you, Rad Joe, Vix Tex, Liam Forsberg, JoJo, Just Me, Miss Carmen. Love always, Granny Whisperer, Fancy Nancy, Casey Chambers, Vix Tex, all of y'all. Thank y'all for being here this evening. I know y'all probably had it coming out of your ears all day. Thank y'all for being here and hanging out with OKJ. And for any of y'all that are here after the fact on the rewatch, because you'll get to this point and you'll hear me say it, rewatch or live, thank you for going along with me to get a little justice through understanding. So leave your comments. Tell me what you think of everything that you noticed today. And again, be looking for me in the evening times after each day of trial. And like I said, you don't have to be there for the live, because I know you'll probably be all day long somewhere else. And just come on the rewatch if you're not busy and you want to hear OKJ ramble on about what I see, what I demonstrate in this world, inside of a world. And always, with love in my heart, keep on looking.